Subscribe, follow, like, share. Last Bell Boxing. These guys give you all the exclusives, and next time I get my fight date, it's going to be exclusive on here as well. So make sure you give them all a follow.
Hello, welcome to Last Bell Boxing, joined by regulars Brett. How you doing, Brett? Good afternoon.
Doing well, mate. Thank you.
Good to hear. And Sean, how you going, Sean? Good evening.
Evening, guys. Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good to hear, good to hear. So this one, hot off the press regarding Daniel Dubois leaving to join Tony Sims and also having a whole new management team around him by the looks of it with Sam Jones as well. Not sure how it's going to work, guys, because his dad is obviously a massive influence on this guy's career. He's the one he looks for when he gets knocked down. He seems to be the one who calls the shots. So I'm not sure how Sam Jones is going to fit in as a mouthpiece as his manager, but that's for us to debate. So I'll come to Sean first on this one. Sean, is this a good move? Bad timing? Thoughts now?
Well, it's more of a strange move for me, really, for a number of reasons. Number one, what does this mean for Daniel promotionally wise, as we touched on earlier? Tony Sims appears to be Matchroom exclusive in terms of trainers. After all, the gym is the Matchroom gym where they all train. So be interesting to see if it's the last change of Daniel's sort of team. I don't see why he's changed trainers, to be fair, because Don Charles done a good job by all accounts, where you think Dubois was before he joined him. And it's almost night and day the fighter he become under him. Obviously, his dad's in the background, be a bit of a bad influence from the outside. We obviously aren't privy to what goes on. But yeah, it was a bit of a strange announcement. And as you say, the manager one with Sam Jones, Sam obviously likes to be involved, likes to be hands-on, guides the career, likes to make all the decisions. Is that going to happen? I can't see him taking the money to be a yes man, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out.
Are we giving Don Charles too many flowers? Bearing in mind it was only 18 months that he was working with Daniel Dubois. Are we in danger of giving him too much credit, Sean? I know he's done a lot of work mentally with Daniel by all accounts, but are we in danger of giving him too much credit? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I don't think so. By all accounts, I've never particularly held Don Charles to a higher level as others do. But I think with Daniel Dubois, we've really seen what a good trainer he is. I mean, you've got to remember where he come from, Dubois. But before, he was with the guys at the Peacock gym. He didn't have any confidence. He wasn't throwing his shots with authority, wasn't sitting down on his punches. And Don Charles brought all of that out. And obviously that culminated against AJ, the performance of his career. Look what he done there. So I think you have to say that Don Charles was the mastermind behind it. And you have to give him the credit for what he done in those 18 months.
Yeah, this sounds like I'm going in on him, but I'll ask you one more supplementary question before I move on to Brett. One thing that he hasn't been able to take out of Dubois' game is that the fact that he sits on his knee and when the going gets tough, he'll count to 10 with the referee, then get up and walk to his corner. So again, I've got to be careful here because I've got the biggest AJ fanboy in the world on the channel, but I'm going to go there. We talk about Dubois versus AJ being the pinnacle of his career to date. How much was that Dubois performing well, or how much was that AJ's absolutely shot to bits and was terrible on the night?
I still don't buy AJ shot to bits. I'm with Brett here. AJ fandom of it, but no, definitely. I think it was more Dubois performed out of his skin really, and he pulled a rabbit out of a hat. I think. With that, though, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I don't think you can coach that out of somebody. I think once they're here, if that's their natural instinct and if that's what they sort of built with fundamentally, I don't think you can just coach it out of someone. So I think he'll always retain that, unfortunately.
Okay, coming to you, Brett. Same question, but with another question on the end of it. How much of a step up is it? Is it even a step up going to Tony Sims from Don Charles? If you look at history of heavyweight fighters they've trained.
Yeah, first of all, I like Sims, but I've got the ump with this one, to be honest, massively. because there's no loyalty. There's no loyalty in boxing. There's zero loyalty because let's talk about this.
Charles
That
took
night,
some bullets, didn't he? Charles took some bullets after that fight, didn't he, for Daniel?
Yeah, but think about this, mate. Think about this. The night that we're talking about where Daniel Dubois starched AJ, we start questioning Ben Davidson. And then now he's got one of the most hottest talents who's just destroyed Dylan White in under a minute and a half. Like, but then it's like, because Ben said, come on, AJ, it's time to roll the dice. Then everyone starts questioning him. So there's no loyalty. So it's about the trainer. It must be the trainer. Sometimes it is. But I tell you, going back to, was Daniel Dubois sensational that night, or was AJ very poor? The shot he hit AJ with in the first round would have cleaned 98% of heavyweights out. It's just AJ's arrogance and will to win that when he gets caught, he doesn't like, he'd rather walk, and he was out, done. And his hands were down by his side. So if Usyk gets hit with that shot, it would have been the same situation. However,
No, I've got a lot of editing to do on this video.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you can do whatever you need to do, mate. Whatever, you got my blessings. But ultimately, there was the wrong game plan, and Daniel Dubois knew what he'd done to AJ in sparring, so he jumped all over him. And then fast forward into your actual question that you just asked me there was, what is it a step up? Well, I think Sims is a great trainer. I like him, but I feel like the Dubois situation there with Don Charles was almost like what Davidson was to Tyson Fury. He's that man that goes everywhere, holds his bag for him. He's making sure he's playing the room. His dad's getting a load of stick for not being at the press conference, remember? And he's like, let me tell you something. Daniel Dubois would not be the man he is today without his dad. He's even given his dad flowers. And then, you know, he's probably kicked off about that house party and said, what are you doing? This is my fighter. And then the dad's gone, you know what? Go on then. We'll leave you. We'll go somewhere else. So for me, I've actually got the ump about it. I mean, no disrespect to Tony Sims. I think the Sims family is amazing. So good luck. Good luck to him. And will he be able to change that going to one knee? Not when he's looking for his dad in the corner, mate. Not when he's looking for his dad. It's a trait. He looks for his dad. Yeah. Dad, what should I do here? And even when he goes to the corner, you know, Don Charles is like, right, and he's like this.
Yeah. And you can't have that, right? You can't have that.
Well, that's why ultimately, regardless of what you think, and maybe not the same level, but that's why Eubank got rid of Senior, because he's like, Dad, I've not won a world title at this stage. Of course, he's earned a little bit of bunts, but he's earned way more money since he got rid of his dad, because he started pushing his career in a different angle. So we had to make that decision. I need to get rid of my dad. I don't think that Daniel will follow that same pattern and get rid of his dad. But Caroline don't do it the same way, does she?
Distance herself, hasn't she? She distanced herself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think Don Charles is a little bit too grateful for the Dubois gig?
I think we know him before as Derek Chisora's man, don't we? And it's almost like I agree with you, mate. He's done good enough. We're not talking about him in the same breath as the top boys, are we? I just think he's perfect for what Daniel needed. He was perfect for what Chisora needed. Right, Chisora's going to start throwing tables. Let me go and get hold of him. Like, you know, Daniel's been called a quitter. Let me bring him in every morning and tell him he's not a quitter. I'm only here for you, Daniel. I'm only here for you. Forget what everybody else said. Your dad's not at the press conference. Don't worry, I've got this. His dad's the main man. Absolutely first class for what he needed. So, you know, ultimately, fighters need different things. At the time that Tyson Fury was coming back, he needed Ben Davidson to live with him. And look at what Ben Davidson's gone on to do.
Yeah. And last one for you, Sean, before I close the video off. Again, Don Charles, could he be accused of being too grateful, bearing in mind his previous heavyweight charges were Chisora, as Brett mentioned, Ian Lewison and Tom Little. You know, it's a big step up to Dubois, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But you got to remember with Don Charles is that he's been in the sport for a long time, so he's obviously quite selective who he takes on. So he must have thought he could do a decent job with Dubois. And I obviously know Harvey Dykes is a Brighton boy that's in the gym. He's been in count with Dubois for both of the Usyk fights. So yeah, I think he feels badly treated of everything that's happened, and as Brett said, I think he's got a right to feel like he's been disloyal by Dubois.
Yeah. And last one from me. We fast forward 12 months. I know there's a lot of facets involved in this question, but just a yes or no. Brett, will Dubois have a belt around his waist in 12 months' time?
No.
Sean, will Dubois have a belt around his waist in 12 months' time?
Only to hold up his trousers.
Okay, that'll answer that. Okay. Well, that's mine, Brett and Sean's opinions on all things Daniel Dubois, Don Charles, Tony Sims, and the way you've been treated. Post your comments below. A lot of action at the minute in the comments. A few cheeky ones, I've got to be honest, but I quite like it. Like, comment, subscribe. This has been Last World Boxing, proudly sponsored by Sean Building Services and SC Travel. Thank you very much, Brett. Thank you very much, Sean. See you on the next video.